and a landing. Oh, wait, someone here. Hey, dude. How you doing? Hello? What?
Well,
Hello?
yep.
Hey, man. I'm glad you popped on when you did. We were literally just about to hop off, so
Really?
I will give it 3 more minutes because I wait to 8:15 and see if anyone else pops on. But then we can get started at 8:15.
All right.
So, Hey, how's it going, man? Glad to have you on. So we're about to be starting in 3 minutes. Just going to be covering the whole thing. Made a whole new PowerPoint I'm excited to share with you guys. And be starting in 3 minutes. Getting this thing going. Two more minutes till starting. 2 more minutes till starting. Hey, George. How you doing? Mhm. One minute. Okay, everyone, let's get this started. So, just to start off with, this webinar means a lot to me. This has been the product of years and years of work. Like, I didn't first start sleeping regularly until I was 19 years old, like 19 and a half, almost 20 years old. And I'm 25, a little over 25 today. And I have been like working with people with insomnia since then, coaching all sorts of people since I was like 11, researching insomnia, researching everything I could possibly do to fix insomnia, trying, experimenting, everything I could possibly do to fix insomnia. I put all this experience into this webinar. So strap in, guys. This is going to be awesome. So I'm going to move this so I can actually see. So my goal for this presentation is to help you guys understand how to listen to your body and how listening to your body is ultimately the secret to sleeping soundly every night. It's not CBTI. I mean, like, it's not CBTI or any of these drugs or anything. It's really getting in touch with your body and breaking this cycle. I'm going to show you on the webinar the cycle of insomnia. It's a crappy cycle. It's like inflammation. So first of all, just to introduce this and show you how almost impossible it can feel to get out of this cycle. Lack of sleep creates inflammation. Inflammation creates an immune response. That immune response creates more inflammation, more lack of sleep, more stress, etc. It's just this loop. Like when I didn't sleep for like weeks and months at a time, it wasn't like it was crazy. Like it wasn't like, oh, like how am I up? It was like, how am I ever going to fall asleep? Because the more I would be up, the harder it was to fall asleep, because you need, also I'm moving this down so I'm not like staring off in the distance. So basically, like you need sleep to reduce inflammation. But if you can't sleep, if your body's response to inflammation is to stop sleeping, then it basically feels impossible to start sleeping again. And the sleep drugs don't work. Oftentimes the sleep drugs all have fillers in them, random stuff that's going to trigger insomnia. Like on it, like the fillers in sleep drugs it's insane. Like looking back, like none of the sleep drugs ever worked, but I think actually now they were one of the main contributing causes, simply because like sleep supplements, melatonin, they all have like magnesium stearate, all these binders and fillers in them, which like these trigger insomnia in me to this day. Like just a few days ago, I was trying to like get to sleep earlier. I'm like, oh, I'll take this melatonin supplement. It should be fine. And I sleep really well all the time, so I should have known better, but it makes me cocky. So I took the melatonin. I was just up all night. I'm just like looking at the freaking magnesium stearate. I'm like, okay, like obvious, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. So I don't take any of the sleep supplements now. I don't take any sleep drugs now. I sleep soundly every night. No sleep drugs, nothing. And it's simply because I've figured out how to break that loop without keeping the insomnia triggering. So let's get through this. So it's going to be a 90-minute presentation. I'm going to be, again, I just told you, I'm going to be showing you how to get in touch with your body and how listening to your body and using that as your guiding light is going to be how you get out of this hellhole of insomnia. And while this is going on, like, let me know in the comments, like how long you guys have had insomnia for, like things you've tried, so I can tailor this more to you specifically and give you specific relevant advice that has to do with you guys and what you've tried. Because I have, just to give you understanding the next 90 minutes, I've got a framework that I have and I prepared to teach you guys how to listen to your body, show you why that's important, and give you practical tips on how to start that now. But if you want, like, I can change the frameworks and stuff. Like, let's say, like, you say, okay, I have this and this problem. I can include that in, I've been dealing with it for 4 months. Okay, so that's something I'll definitely make sure to touch on then, is how, so you haven't had insomnia your whole life then, correct? This is just developed recently. Yeah, so I'll definitely make sure I'll incorporate that into the presentation, because I think there's two types of people with insomnia. There's a variety of types of insomnia, but let's talk about, for severe insomnia that can't be treated with medications, there's people who have had insomnia like their whole life, and then there's people who develop it. Both kinds of insomnia are you can still fix them the same way. It's easier if you've had it for less time, simply because there's just been less time to dysregulate your body, dysregulate your circadian rhythm and everything. But insomnia itself is a symptom that is a result of a breakdown in your body that leads to a cycle of disease and chronic inflammation. And one way to like understand insomnia is basically just that chain breaks at its weakest link. So for myself personally, if I start like overstressing myself, not eating right, drinking like too much, not like getting a recovery in, not eating properly, I had a huge stress. Exactly. So you had a huge stress into exactly. So what happens is you have a stressor event, And then that basically, like, it overwhelms your body's ability to deal with stress. And then you end up having breakdown, and your body breaks down its weakest link. For me, that's insomnia and my gut. Like, if I, like, when I have stressful events, I stop sleeping and I get diarrhea. It's just like the first thing that happens very quickly. That's what probably happened to you, your stressful event. And the thing is, it's like, our health isn't static. Our health is either improving or it's declining. So basically, most people throughout their life go from being in fairly good condition as a child to being in worse condition as they age. And then we experience events that stress us out and, like, knock us down rungs. And then we start experiencing new symptoms, new problems, new stressors, more stress, more breakdown, etc. And again, like, there's just this horrible problem. Like, once you get caught in this loop, it's just like, it feels never ending. Like, it really feels never ending. And, like, I've gotten caught in this loop, like, again throughout my life. Like, I remember when I was like 15, I thought I fixed my insomnia. And then when I was like 18, I thought I fixed it. When I was like 19, I was like, okay, now I fixed it. And it's like, it's finally gone. It's finally completely gone. It's been gone for years and years. But it took me so long to get to that point because, there's so many triggers, just so many triggers in our modern world that trigger insomnia. And there's also, like, once you're in that state, it's so hard to get yourself out of the state of, like the cycle of chronic health issues. So let's continue on into the presentation. So, like, Greg, I think that Greg has been here before, so I know this isn't your first time trying to fix insomnia, but if you have tried to fix insomnia before and you have not succeeded, it is not your fault. This is, like, the hardest thing on planet Earth. I actually don't think that it's even understood. I'm starting to think that insomnia, as it exists in medical dictionaries and medical science today, is not accurate. Like, because, like, all the treatments and stuff don't apply to, like, there's different types of insomnia. So I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients over the last 6 years. A lot of them had insomnia. Some of them didn't have insomnia. But of the ones who had insomnia or sleep issues, I would divide them into two categories. There are people who have, like, I would say simple insomnia. I call it simple insomnia and complex insomnia. Simple insomnia is you're doing something silly to get insomnia. Like, oh no, you drank caffeine at 8 o'clock at night and now you can't sleep. Like, and there are people who would hit me up and still hit me up to this day looking for coaching. And they're like, hey, like, I can't sleep. And it's just like, so I created this questionnaire that I've used to, like, I give people when they, like, hit me up, like, asking me for help with insomnia, because a lot of people, they basically would just like one of the questions in the questionnaire is like, do you consume caffeine late at night? Do you stay up all night intentionally on your phone? Because a lot of people out there confuse doing dumb things that keep you up with insomnia. And that seems to actually be what all the treatments out there are for. Like, when they're like, oh, like, use CBTI in case you're afraid of sleeping. And they treat it like it's anxiety. They treat it like it's depression. They treat it like it's everything but a primary cause illness, which is really, like, what I've noticed. I mean, it's like, because all the sleep drugs, those more mask symptoms. Like, I never got addicted to sleep drugs, thank God, is because I have a background in neuroscience. So I researched all the drugs at an early age. And I looked, like, even the drugs, like, even if you take the drugs and even if they knock you out, they don't actually turn off the parts of your brain that have to do with rest. So you don't even really sleep. You just feel unconscious. So there's really no point in even taking them. So it's really nuts out there. I mean, it took me over 10 years to find a solution, and I basically had to create this whole thing that I'm going to show you from scratch. Like, there's just nothing out there for complex insomnia, for any type of insomnia that's actually, like, and this is my experience, and experience a lot of people I've worked with. They go to the doctor, and you go and you're like, hey, I have insomnia, I can't sleep, can I have this sleep drug or whatever? And they give you a sleep drug. Sleep drug either works for a little bit of time or doesn't work. It either works and stops working or it doesn't work at all. And then you go to the doctor and you're like, this didn't work. And then they're like, oh, here's another sleep drug. And this doesn't work. And they're like, okay, well, clearly you have depression or anxiety. And then like they try to like give you CBTI therapy for depression and anxiety. Recommend breathing exercises, meditation, all this stuff. And these things do help. I mean, like meditation now, when I meditate before bed, I sleep wonderfully. But when I meditated before bed, when I had insomnia, it didn't do anything because it's like there's something chemically wrong. Like, it's really interesting. I'd love to I plan on spending a lot of time in the future breaking down exactly what's going wrong in the brain with these cases of insomnia. But it's really crazy, like the amount of people I've found out there who have this type of insomnia, where it's similar to myself, where like I could take like every single sleep drug in the book after not sleeping for 5 days, and then lay down for like 12 hours in a dark room and not sleep. Like I would literally like be hallucinating from the amount of drugs I was on, but I wouldn't be sleeping. And this just go on. And it's just crazy. It's really nuts. And it's just so discouraging. You can't find a solution. Cause you're just like it almost like I felt honestly like I was kind of insane. Like I was like, am I crazy? Am I imagining this? I'm not imagining this because I'm pooping blood now because I haven't slept in 2 weeks. So there's no way I'm imagining this. But like everyone on the internet seems to think it's impossible for me to stay up, and the doctor thinks it's impossible. And it's just like, it was like this thought process. I'm like, how is this even a thing? Like that just stuck with me and led me to honestly do a lot of this work online to like find other people. So I'm like, okay, wow, but good, I'm not crazy. So a lot of people are mostly concerned with, is this genetic? Like, do I have some sort of genetic problem that's preventing me from sleeping? And that's one thing I worried. My grandmother has insomnia. My mother has insomnia. I had insomnia. It got worse and worse with each generation. So I'm like, am I just cursed with this horrible insomnia that's just going to get worse and worse and worse until I die? No, it's not genetic. It is the result of triggers. Different people have different susceptibilities to different triggers. Some people respond to certain triggers by becoming depressed. Some people respond to certain triggers by developing irritable bowel syndrome. It all depends. But insomnia is not genetic. Pharma solutions don't work. You guys probably already know this if you're here. I mean, I always like to joke around with people when they're on calls with me on consultations. Like they're always like, it's funny. Like people are always like, they'll say sometimes, they'll be like, like, I don't know, I'm going to go try this other solution or something. I'm going to go try like this new drug. Are you sure this drug's not going to work? And I always kind of tell people, I'm like, would you be on a call on some random webinar or some random call with like some guy on the internet if these solutions work? Like if you could actually go to your doctor and find a solution that worked. These solutions don't work. Like there is a whole plethora of people on the internet who honestly, I think I'm like we're the only people uncovering them. I mean, there's a lot of other sleep people out there even. I'll get to those, I think, later. Insomnia is highly misunderstood. So a lot of other sleep people I've followed, a lot of other sleep people I've like looked at, and honestly, I don't think they understand it either. It's really crazy how it's treated as anxiety. It's treated as depression. I don't know if you guys have seen, like, let me know if you've seen sleep acceptance therapy. That's just something, like, I think it's the craziest thing ever. It's basically the idea that you have insomnia because you're afraid of not sleeping. So the way to cure insomnia is to stop being afraid of insomnia and to accept it. And when you accept insomnia, it goes away. Like that never worked for me. Like I literally, like I tried that at points in time. Like it got worse, honestly, because I would just be laying in bed and I'd stop trying to do anything to fight it. And when I stopped fighting it, it just got worse because the little things that I figured out to do to like sleep actually helped. And when I stopped doing those, like it just got worse and worse. And I was like, okay, these people are clearly insane. And I go on about that, but like it's very misunderstood. The purpose of this webinar is real change, figuring out what the cause of your insomnia is and fixing it once and for all. So you don't have to continue spending all your time on the internet searching and trying to figure out solutions. So my story. So basically, I thought I had genetic insomnia. My grandmother had insomnia. My mom had insomnia. I had insomnia like pretty much all the time as a little kid, but like it didn't really bother me as much because I'd probably like be up till like 12. I couldn't really fall asleep until like really late in the night, but whatever. I just read books as a little kid, and then like maybe I'd wake up early, but like who really cares? Because like it's not like school is demanding or anything. And then around the time I was like 11, 12 and stuff, started hitting puberty, started becoming more like self-conscious, started trying to fix the insomnia. I'm like, okay, this is going to like really hold me back in life. You know what I mean? Like, let's get to sleep. Figured out I couldn't sleep, kept living my life regardless of this. I kept like wrestling, doing sports, doing soccer, trying to like make friends, do well in school, go on dates and stuff. But I developed lots of challenges. Like I had erectile dysfunction for basically the entire year, like from 16 and a half to like 17 and a half. Was like pooping blood, peeing blood for like a few months during wrestling season when I had erectile dysfunction. I just wasn't sleeping because my health got so bad from not sleeping, overstressing myself with school and everything that I was just falling apart. So my senior year of high school, I figured out some stuff that kind of worked to fix the insomnia, but mostly I just like stayed home from school the days that I couldn't sleep. And I just lay in bed, and that like resting kind of enabled me to like not have my body fall apart on me, so I could like wrestle, keep on like pushing myself, like have relationships, and really spend most of my waking hours just trying to figure out how to fix insomnia. Like I would just literally like whenever I was like up at night, I would just like research like how to fix insomnia. And initially, like I really didn't want to be in the healthcare space at all. Honestly, I wanted to be a chemical engineer. I wanted to be a chemical engineer, go into chemical engineering. Was really nerdy into that kind of stuff. But around the age of 16, I was basically forced to accept that I was going to have to spend my life in medicine and in healthcare because that was all I was able to do was research health, research wellness, research supplements, herbs, like anything I could do to sleep. I'm like, okay, well, seeing as I'm spending like 10,000 odd or more hours researching this stuff, I should probably just make a career out of it because it's literally the only thing I'm good at because I just have to orient my life around fixing this. And it didn't really help though until I was 19. And then at the age of 19, I finally found relief through the carnivore diet. But there were issues with the carnivore diet. But I mean, it pretty much worked. Like it enabled me to like go from like not ever sleeping at all and thinking that I was literally going to die. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to die. I probably already have cancer or whatever. I'd have those thoughts all the time. I was like, holy fuck, this is literally going to kill me. I'd already done like experiments with ketosis and like literally everything. And then like I had issues from that because of like, it was crazy. Like it was just effing crazy. And I was like, okay, I'll give carnivore a try. So like, hopefully I just don't die and I can live my life. And I was turned on to that by my uncle, the traveling doctor in Cambodia. He has a lake clinic. He's a traveling doctor in Cambodia. Look him up, the lake clinic. Interesting guy. Johnny Morgan, but he turned me on to carnivore. So I started doing carnivore in September of my sophomore year of college. When I was 19, I started sleeping again pretty quickly. And I think like the second night I did carnivore, I slept like completely through the night. And I literally like got out of bed and I like cried because I was just so happy I finally like slept. It was actually like the first really high quality night of sleep I'd like ever had in my life. Like I didn't really sleep well. Even when I'd sleep, I wouldn't really sleep well. And finally started sleeping. eventually I ran into issues on carnivore. I had to start taking more and more supplements. I developed gut problems, probably due to energy drink consumption. I had to fix those gut problems and stuff, figured that out. And throughout this, I was coaching large amounts of people with insomnia. I started Week to Warrior Kettlebell Club that I largely just built around helping people with health issues that I found online, and started doing high ticket coaching people with health issues. During that, I was coaching business owners and athletes, students, people in college. And I made videos on YouTube about my experience with insomnia, and that's how a lot of people found me. I don't know if you guys found me. Let me know you found me in the messages, but most people who I talk to have found me through my YouTube channel, which is, it just started blowing up related to the insomnia content. So I still make other types of content on there, but it's mostly insomnia content because I just realized like that's what honestly like I resonate. That's what like people need the most. I feel like that's what the world really needs. So now I do these webinars, and I have a line of supplements coming out soon that I just started because, again, like contaminated supplements are just the worst. So I finally got fed up and I finally got fed up with contaminated supplements and just started making my own. So that's going to be coming out real soon. So if you guys are interested in supplements, check out the website. Those will be up there soon. But yeah, so now this is what I'm doing, and I created this. So how are you guys feeling so far? Are you guys excited? You guys interested? Let me know. Give me some in life. Give me some energy. One second, I'll check out the messages. Okay, I've been dealing with insomnia for over a decade. It's the gut for me. Ran tons of text so far as toxicity. Okay. It's not chemical. Yeah, it's CBT. It's not CBT. It's chemical and CBT concept. Test your neurotransmitters. No, I've never tested neurotransmitters. Gut tests, no. I've never done any tests for gut toxins, mycotoxins, worms, or bacteria. Supplements. You don't need the supplements. They just help. I mean, like, they definitely like help. Like, I find I love them. Like, but you can definitely cut them out for a long amount of the recovery period, specifically because a lot of the ingredients can be very triggering, especially the gelatin capsules. But the gut, though. So, what do you mean with the gut specifically? You can like come on the audio and like talk? Yeah, if that's easier.
The neurotransmitters basically control everything that deals with sleep. So your neurotransmitters are in your gut, and if you have a gut infection, then basically your neurotransmitters don't function properly, and that's where the serotonin is made, your tryptophan, your GABA, all of these things that regulate sleep are found in the gut. And like, I think something like 80% of your serotonin is made in the gut. So if the gut's infected, there's going to be no way you can sleep normally, from my understanding.
Yeah. No, 100%. You've been dealing with insomnia for over a decade. That's brutal. How much sleep do you get at night on average?
Oh. Well, man, I mean, depends. It's all over the place, so it's very hard to say. Right now, I'm taking tryptophan because one of my doctors prescribed it after we did neurotransmitter tests. So all my neurotransmitters are like non-existent. So basically, we're trying different things to help basically like supplement what I'm missing. And so tryptophan has been putting me to sleep. And I'm taking a peptide, which is, I don't know if you've heard of it, as CJC 1295. It stimulates the pituitary to release growth hormone, so you end up sleeping like a baby. But other than that, I could be up, like every single night of the week. At 2 morning, like alarm bells, and then I can't go back to sleep for hours on end,
Yeah, that's like literally. So you'd be up all night, every night of the week, pretty much.
It's all over the place, and it would always be like that's the problem I was having. I couldn't really pinpoint it to anything. I've spent like a long time trying to figure out exactly what's causing it.
Mm.
And I've tried all different things. At first I thought it was the coffee, like just like everybody else. And then I'd go a week without drinking coffee and I would still not sleep, So I knew it wasn't the coffee because I've had episodes where I would sleep just fine with coffee. And then some days I'd wake up like at midnight and then can't go back to sleep for an hour. Other times it would be like I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and can't go back to sleep for 3 hours. And then I know I have to function next day. So I'm in my kitchen just grabbing everything I can, any kind of pill I can to eventually knock me out. And it feels like, you're just up. You're not like it's a chemical reaction. Something's happening inside my body that stopped me from sleeping normal. I used to sleep like everybody else normal. But like I've had serious gut problems. That's how I knew that it's something to do with the gut. And eventually I just, I got tired of going to all these like Western doctors that just give you pills. And I started really digging into it. And I started running a lot of different tests, and some tests came back for me. Like my gut was infected with like a lot of E. coli. And I had heavy metal toxicity. I had like extremely high mercury from.
That's
yeah.
interesting. That's really interesting. That's that's something that's a really big contributor to insomnia. So one thing that it does is heavy metals will make you more sensitive in an autoimmune sense to environmental triggers. And also heavy metals will basically make your gut very toxic. Like as your body tries to detox the heavy metals through your gut, you end up have a lot of metals in your gut. And then those actually promote the growth of bad bacteria.
Yeah, it's called like
dysbiosis in the gut. It's horrible because it makes the dysbiosis makes you absorb more heavy metals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like one doctor told me, she's like, whenever you have heavy metals, and she had like they put a lot of amalgam in her teeth. She almost died because what they used to do is they used to put like mercury fillings into people's mouths, and that's how I got my mercury.
My dad's got them. I'm trying to convince him to get them out because it's like
the EMF is what leaches the mercury. So whenever you're around any kind of radiation, it makes it actually evaporate even faster into your system. But yeah, so she had almost died. She had like a whole mouthful of it. She had to get it pulled out. She like literally traveled the country to find different people to help her, and eventually she found out what it was. But she always said to me, when you got the heavy metal, it like basically it comes with bugs in the stomach. It's like almost a guarantee. So before you treat anything, before you do detox or anything, you have to treat the gut. It's like the first step.
I think the gut is like, it does really start with, I think it does. Like the gut's number one, but how you treat the gut is always going to be really dependent on the situation. Cause like treat the gut, there's a million things that could mean, but, so what have you tried though to fix your gut?
Well, honestly, we did the elimination diet. So pretty much almost carnivore, kind of like what you did. That helped it a lot because before then I was just convulsing a lot on the couch from stomach problems like pain, diarrhea, bloating, constipation, coming and going, a lot of like gurgling noises, feeling weird after food, all sorts of shit like that. So that went on for like about 2-3 years. I've had like severe nausea from out of nowhere, and like I just couldn't eat. So I would like lose weight, like I would lose like 10 pounds because I couldn't put food down for weeks. And like I said, so eventually I just broke down and started hiring people. And I hired the first guy I hired was this guy he does a lot of YouTubes. This guy, TC Hale, who has like a huge library of education on free, by the way, on digestion. So he basically coached me on, how to process the food, how the bile works, how the digestion works, why you get diarrhea, why you get constipation, what's the bloating about, and just gives you a lot of this really impeccable information on what I honestly think they should teach in everyday school. But basically, that meant I had to take things that were antimicrobial and digestive aids, things that stimulate the bile, things that help you break down the food, because you need to process that, because with all the bacteria in the gut, that creates more of that environment for things to breed, because what they basically excrete is very high in pH, so it like reduces the acidity of the gut. And your gut's supposed to be very acidic. Your gut is basically your immunity. And that's like everything that comes inside of you, like the gut is the barrier. And so if it's very pH and there's a lot of dysbiosis and a lot of bugs breeding in there, it's the perfect environment for you not to be able to get the nutrients from the food, and the food starts to ferment, and it creates like a whole host of problems that and especially if the bile is not working. So I focused with him a lot on the bile production, on coating the gut with like all sorts of things, like basically like collagen bone broths, things like that, taking the HCl to go with the bile flow, and just getting the digestion going. So that really greatly helped a lot. And my gut started healing. It started getting better. Eventually what we did was we ran across a book, which is called Super Gut. And he basically has all of these very potent formulas that you can just make yourself. You basically bake your own yogurt. And I know it sounds crazy, but the yogurt is so powerful. You bake it at home and you bake it for like 36 hours, because all the magic happens in the last 4 hours. So you can't really buy yogurt like this commercially, because they only cook it for like 8 hours. And so you're buying the strand online and you just reuse it. And then you're cooking this incredibly powerful probiotic bacteria that's specifically made to eat and fight off the SIBO, the bad bacteria. And so you start like filling up on that SIBO. They call it SIBO yogurt, but it has like an actual name. And so the book goes into all of it. It's like a wealth of information by this doctor. And that really made a tremendous difference for my gut. Like, so my gut started doing much better. But even though the gut got better, I'm still not sleeping, so I kept going to different doctors. That there's this doctor out in Colorado that specializes with the gut and specializes with sleep, because those two things seem to come hand in hand. Like it's very common for people with the gut. Like she said something like 9 out of 10 people with gut problems have sleep problems, because everything that regulates sleep is in the gut. And if you're dealing with a chronic infection, you're not going to be able to basically, do all the other functions. Like all the other functions are just secondary. The body's like dealing with an infection. So that's when I started testing all this other junk, mycotoxins and neurotransmitters, and looking at it and just being a little bit taken aback. I mean, I didn't think that it was that bad. We've ran multiple tests, and of course, at this point in my life, I'm 47. So a lot of, this has been going on probably for quite a while. So it's tanked all my other resources. Like my hormones don't work. Like, my thyroid, my testosterone's like shot, everything's shot, because I guess it just, it's constantly pulling resources, kind of like the back of your leg, your foot, where you're losing skin. That's because it's pulling resources from everywhere it can. That's why you have a cracked heel.
Yeah. No, it's really I think I'm still detoxing heavy metals. Actually, I've been taking like a chlorella. I've been doing the carnivore, high fat, cyclic keto, and taking increased amounts of chlorella to help just detox. And when I do that, it heals up. But like, that is definitely like, in terms of listening to my body, that is one of the key things I pay attention to, in like what makes my heel not cracked. Like, I'm pretty much good enough at supplements at this point. I have a really complicated supplement game. So even if I start to get like the hint of insomnia, I can knock it out with like a bunch of supplements and whatever. But like the cracked heel though, I'm like, that's basically like right now, that's kind of like that's what I'm figuring out, kind of like in the health journey, because it's a never ending health journey ultimately. I
know, but like if you do the course by TC Hale, you'll see that he explains how the body pulls resources specifically from the back of the heel. That's like a very common area for it to take, because it's almost like the hair. The hair is a luxury, it doesn't need it. So you start to thin hair as you get sicker. And there's other indications. There's like a nails, like, so if you have like a white line on your nail, that indicates that like there's an infection or something the body's dealing with, and it's pulling resources from all these like stored away places. It's a good course. It doesn't cost anything. It's absolutely free. He dealt with it.
I'll check that out, because I find everything interesting. But I'm gonna keep on going now, because
let's go.
Got some stuff to get through. But imagine your life without insomnia. Ultimately, like, use this as motivation to fix your insomnia. Imagine your life without it. Like, it is ultimately possible to achieve that life. And I just remember the big thing for me, and the big thing like that ultimately caused me the most pain, was just the relationship stress, like just feeling like I was unreliable because my sleep was unreliable. So ultimately, what's that again? So ultimately, what I tried in the past to start sleeping again, like I tried everything to start sleeping again, but before I came to this idea of listening to your body. So with that course, like, send me that course in the messages, because I will check that course out. But in terms of like everything I tried to fix insomnia specifically, I couldn't find anything. I tried CBTI, pills, sleep studies, herbs, supplements, diet changes, sleep hygiene, like carnivore, like you said, sleep training, sleep hygiene training, like anxiety treatments, acupuncture, yoga, meditation, water therapy, is like everything. I was kind of looking for some magic bullet. Like I was looking for some, I was kind of like, in some sense, like with like even parasite detox. I tried parasite detoxes. I tried like fixing the gut bacteria first. I tried like all this stuff, and ultimately, like, so like where like everything you share with me, like, it's all great. Like, it is all amazing stuff, and it's all stuff that you need to understand in order to fix insomnia and keep it gone. But in terms of, none of those things are going to fix insomnia in and of itself, at least as I understand it, as I experience it, and as check your message, and as I've coached it. Hale digestion course, awesome. I will check that out. But because ultimately, so with like the gut, for instance, you can't really heal your gut until you heal your metabolism, because your metabolism is one of the main drivers of peristalsis, like the movement of material through your gut. If you don't have a good metabolism, your body won't move material through your gut properly, and it'll stay in there and ferment and cause further growth of bad bacteria. The same with the bad bacteria. The bad bacteria prevent peristalsis, which prevents metabolism, which prevents you from sleeping. You like low hormones prevent metabolism. And like, it's this cycle. It's not like if it was any of those things that you brought up, then you would have fixed the insomnia by now, basically. Because, and that's what differentiates simple insomnia from complex insomnia. Complex insomnia is where it's not just one thing. Like you say, you've been suffering with this for 10 years. there's probably multiple simultaneous causes that need to be dealt with in a highly nuanced way in order to fix your insomnia. And that's ultimately why that's ultimately why I came to the idea of listening to my body as the solution, because it's like this, like Ariadne's string. Like, you have to get your body able to sleep enough that you can heal your gut, and you can like it's like there's a way ultimately that you can heal yourself in order to get your metabolism high enough, get your good gut bacteria well enough, detox your body, do all of these things. Like, there is some way to do it. It's like this giant Rubik's Cube almost. Like, it's a good way of thinking about it, honestly. Like, thinking about this problem, it's like a Rubik's Cube. It's like literally as you move one piece in, you move another piece out. You're like, oh, I'm fasting to kill the bad bacteria. Well, now your fasting kills your metabolism. So now you can't sleep because you have no metabolism. So then you eat some food, but your gut doesn't work. So you can't digest the food properly. So now you have triggers, which trigger more inflammation, which makes the insomnia and the stress worse, which triggers more gut problems. So now you need to fast, but now you don't have enough nutrients. It's like this Rubik's Cube. So you're like, how do you eat a bunch of food, but the food ferments in your gut? And it's like literally you sound like me. Like, you sound like me trying to fix this when you're like talking. It's like, so ultimately I'm like, you have to put all this stuff aside and you have to get in touch with your body. And there's a lot of nuanced frameworks for how to do that. So, basically the strategy is going through metabolism, triggers, nutrients, digestion, stress, detox, other health issues, and addressing these things all at once. So do you think that this could work for you if you could like figure out how to listen to your body in a way that you actually followed through on this and got consistent sleep? Is this like, am I explaining this in a way that you think that this sounds like something you could do?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's as far as listening to my body?
Yeah.
No, I don't really trust it anymore.
You don't trust it? Okay.
Yeah, it's let me down all the time because I'm constantly like thinking I finally got the answer, and and it seems to like just come back all the time. Yeah,
I feel you. I mean, I literally was in the same cycle for the longest time. So ultimately, do achievements. I need to like get these slides in order. I think these slides are like kind of out of order, so I will go through the slides, but I'm gonna skip through some of them because we've hit a lot of the points with just the conversation. But basically, I've been able to do a lot of stuff since fixing my insomnia: wrestling, jujitsu, lots of great sex. That's honestly a really big one because throughout. Like, I was 16, dude. I had erectile dysfunction when I was 16.
That's crazy.
Like, I was 16 trying to like start dating, and like the girls were really like, "Do you not like me?" Like, and I'm like, I just like I can't eat a rash. I was like, "No, I like you," and they're like, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "I'm not gay." And it's just so like my penis actually works now. I got 2 kids, very happy wife, and like it's awesome. Like, I actually like have my hormones back in order, which freaking. Thank God, because I was like, my penis doesn't work when I'm 16, so that doesn't bode well for the future. I call this transformation process week 2 warrior. So ultimately, So here's one example of cyclic ketosis. Damn, these slides are like out of order. Okay, so here's a good story. So this is, I was on carnivore and I started sleeping again. And so this is just a really good example of listening to your body and basically like, kind of like what you're saying. You're like, I don't trust my body anymore. I don't know how I could actually do this. So I was in a pretty shit state about 5 years ago. So I fixed my insomnia, but 4.5 years ago. I fixed my insomnia, but I developed these gut issues over the long-term course of carnivore. I've been doing carnivore for like 2.5 years. I was consuming energy drinks when I was on it, which I think the energy drinks were destroying my gut. Have you consumed energy drinks at all ever?
No, but I was drinking a lot of wine coolers, and they were making me incredibly sick. Like I could actually trace that to whatever chemicals they put in some of most of the products that are canned, and I'm assuming those flavor. It's usually the flavoring that's like really toxic, and it just like made everything just so much more exacerbated in the stomach. You know, and, like I can feel it. Mm-hmm.
Have you given those up?
Yeah, I had to give it up, man. I mean, the alcohol was just killing me, man.
You feel better?
After quitting drinking? Yeah, of course I felt better.
Well, first of all, I mean, so that's just step one, listening to your body. I mean, that is an example of step one. Like you experimented with removing alcohol and removing this trigger, and then you feel better. So I'll share my story now, but that's a great example of one way to start implementing listening to your body. Is it's that simple. And we start with simple frameworks. Like one thing that I use to like help people a lot is sauna and cold plunge. By alternating sauna and cold plunge, I have protocols that will actually reset your HPA axis. So one of the issues with insomnia, and if after I tell this, I'll get back to my story, but one of the issues with insomnia is your gut regulates your HPA axis. Are you familiar with the HPA axis at all?
Is that the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals?
Bingo. Yeah, the HPA axis, pituitary adrenal axis. So that axis becomes dysregulated when our gut's dysregulated, when our sleep's dysregulated, when we're inflamed, when we're stressed, all this stuff. And it's like your body's timer. So one of the main reasons that like it's so hard to start sleeping once you're in this insomnia loop is because you can't reset the HPA axis. That's one of the reasons that sleep drugs, you need to keep taking sleep drugs every night to get any sleep at all. It's because you're literally relying on the sleep drugs in order to have a trigger to tell your body to sleep at all. Without that, the HPA axis, I mean, I think it's even through the HPA axis probably. It's probably just a more direct action from GABA. But basically, though, one way to start at the impossible point of not sleeping at all is using hot and cold therapy to reset the HPA axis. And that can provide enough of a reset to reduce inflammation to kickstart processes to start sleeping. There's certain protocols I have like that I'll actually get to at the end of this webinar, but I literally have like protocols that I would use when I like wasn't sleeping for like weeks at a time to like get me out of those cycles where I would like do like a whole bunch of shit in like various order, and it would like shock my body into a state where it could kickstart sleep. And I'm actually writing a book about it right now. It's really cool. It's literally, I make an analogy of this process like an engine. I have a diagram and everything, and the whole book's explaining the diagram of how the health engine works and where it's awesome. But basically, though, my health engine in this story was not working. I was shitting out whole blueberries, and I couldn't digest anything. I was constantly nauseous. I had like horrible SIBO. Like if I ate anything, I would start vomiting. I would just immediately, if I kept it down, I would immediately have like bubbling in my gut, and then just painting toilets, like spray painting toilets aggressively. I couldn't drive anywhere because I have to aggressively diarrhea every 30 minutes. So I basically lived on the toilet, and I was just like, I was like, this is like, I was barely sleeping. I was like, this is like the end of me. I'm like, oh my God, like even carnivore didn't work. What am I going to do? And I was selling stuff on eBay at this point in time to make money. And basically I had this whole eBay inventory of supplements in front of me. And I just was like meditating and praying. And in whatever sense you think about prayer or meditation, I think of it in the sense of like, at the very least, I'm accessing my subconscious mind. I'm allowing the wisdom of my body, the wisdom of my nervous system to express itself without the tyranny of my conscious mind. So I sit down, I just start meditating and kind of praying, just asking God, my body, the wisdom of the collective unconscious to give me some direction for like, what do I do? Like how do I Like I can't digest anything, and even carnivore isn't working right now. Like all my tricks have failed. What do I do? And it just this two words popped into my head. It was just enzymes and probiotics. I'm just like, okay, fuck it, whatever. So I just go over to my shelf, look through all the enzymes, get the highest quality enzyme, Digest Gold, with the highest quality probiotic. And it kind of made sense to me because I'm like, okay, well, I can't digest anything. So basically, there's an issue with enzymes. My body's not producing enzymes to break the food down. I know that because I'm pooping out entire blueberries undigested. And in addition to that, I have this horrible SIBO. So I know that my gut bacteria is completely effed. So how do I fix this? Well, I should probably put good bacteria into my gut and the enzymes. It didn't occur to me, but the wisdom of my body presented it to my mind, and then it made sense. So I tried it. Didn't work. Okay, sat down, asked myself, why didn't this work? And then this idea popped into my head. It was really simple the way it happened. I mean, it's like I'm sitting down, I just got to ask myself, why didn't this work? And then my next idea was, it's not a living probiotic, or the type of bacteria in the pill wasn't like good for whatever reason, or needed to be supplemented with like yogurt or like fermented apples or like some sort of like actual fermented food that wasn't just a pill. I'm like, okay, that makes enough sense that I'll try that out. Try it out. I basically like took a bunch of the probiotics, took a bunch of the enzymes. I'm talking like 8 times the recommended serving size. And then like took a bunch of yogurt and just ate a bunch of like fibrous material. And then I had a normal bowel movement that wasn't horribly painful and resulting in tons of nausea. And then I just experimented with this and kept doing this over the course of like a few weeks and months. And I rehabbed my gut, and then my gut worked again. And then I never consumed energy drinks ever since. Thank effing God. I hate those things. I tell people not to consume them. And since then, in my coaching practice, I've come across at least 24 people who all have irritable bowel syndrome, all specifically linked to the consumption of energy drinks. They're literally crap. So, that is one example of listening to your body and how it really is magic. Like, it really is magic. Like, even you have, in some sense, all the tools to fix insomnia. I mean, you already know pretty much everything that people use to fix insomnia. I mean, maybe there's a few things I could show you that you don't know. But, like, in some sense, if you could only but utilize properly everything you knew, like if you know what I mean, like I knew that my gut needed enzymes and probiotics to function, but for whatever reason, my conscious mind couldn't produce that. And it was especially difficult because I was in this hyper stressed state. So it's even harder to think clearly in the hyper stressed state, but it gave me some place to start. And I mean, like, even to this day, I'm still doing stuff, but it's like, that gave me a place to start. And to this day, I'm still like, okay, body, what do I do now? And it works amazing. It literally keeps, like, in terms of everything, but like literally, like, it can feel as miraculous as having the answer pop into your head. And like, in terms of learning to listen to your body, I have this story somewhere else in the PowerPoints, because they're out of order, I'm just going to jump right to it. One way to, like, I explain this to people, especially my clients, is my daughter. So my daughter's just learned to use the bathroom. And to do that, she had to learn when she had to pee and poop. She had to be able to tell us and be like, Daddy, I have to pee. Daddy, I have to poop. And tell me that I take her to the potty and she uses the potty. And at first, she couldn't tell when she was peeing or pooping. She'd just pee or poop herself. And in terms of our ability to listen to our body, we haven't been trained through Western ways of thinking, through Western medicine, to learn to listen to our body in really any way. It's very much like, you have X symptom, Google X symptom. This is the solution. Do this. You have this. Like, it's very prescriptive. It's not an immersive experience by which we develop an intuitive relationship with our body. And that's the only thing that I've found that keeps my insomnia gone. Like, here's another cute little story. So a while ago, I was trying to help one of my clients who had insomnia. And I was trying to, like, figure out the best diet to fix insomnia. I was like, I know a bunch of diets that work to fix insomnia. I know a bunch of ways of eating and ways of doing all this stuff that work. But what's the best way? I'm trying to give this woman who I'm working with one best way. I'm like, this is how you fix your body. And to do that, I'm trying out all my diets and trying everything. And I keep trying to stick with one thing. And as I keep doing this, my sleep starts getting worse and worse. And again, I go back, I meditate, I pray about it. I ask the wisdom of my body, what's going on? And basically what I realized was it struck me like a load of bricks. I was like, the people who I've coached who have been the most successful to this day text me new things that they know and they've figured out that I haven't learned yet. The people, like even like myself, I'm like, what is it that I do when I don't know what to do? I'm like, I go and I turn to my body. So in some sense, like my thinking of trying to find one way of fixing insomnia or find this thing that works doesn't work. Because at least for myself, so I had insomnia for like pretty much my whole life. And even to this day, like it is an ongoing thing for me to sleep. Like if I just go on autopilot and just go like, yep, I'm just going to do, like I try this. I write down something. I write down some protocol and I try to follow this protocol and make it like the ultimate protocol that like makes me feel the best. It can't be done. At least I can't do it. I can't figure out what one thing or one way of doing things helps me sleep. It changes on an ongoing basis. Like halfway through the week, I'll switch from carnivore to eating carbs. I'll change the type of carbs halfway through. Like it's these systems of interchange and dynamic development that I've developed. And when I go through these systems according to the dictates of my body, I sleep wonderfully. My testosterone's through the roof. Like I get like nice big muscles without taking any supplemental testosterone. Like, I got all these like wonderful benefits, but it comes from this ability to listen to my body. It doesn't come from, some one protocol I'm doing, ultimately, because in some real sense, the impetus, the energy that gets you out of the state of insomnia is the energy of change. So day and night, awake, asleep, parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system responses, rest and digest, fight and flight. It's this movement between states that allows us to sleep. When we can't sleep, it's not because we're too awake. We're exhausted. It's because our body is stuck in this twilight zone. It's like if here's awake and here's asleep, we're just here. And we can't get the thing to move. So you're just never really awake, never really asleep. If you were really awake, then you'd be really asleep, because then your body would have the momentum. So the ways that I've developed to fix insomnia that ultimately work are built on this principle of change. And the way that we know when to change between different diets, different modes of stimulating responses from our body, is developing this relationship with our body. Ultimately, like the way you like notice, like, okay, alcohol is harming me, cut that out. There may be other things in your life that are harming you, cut those out. There may be other things you're not consuming that could be helping you. And there may be patterns of being that could help you that you haven't identified yet. Is that making sense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Let us go on with the presentation. One of the things, this is a slide from the part about community. One of the things I found very useful in fixing my insomnia at first was, you mentioned you're on carnivore. If you're part of any carnivore,
I came off of it because I just couldn't sustain it for much longer. I felt like a lot of relief from doing carnivore for close to a month. I think all of these symptoms, I couldn't put down any kind of carb, Yeah. And it was just, I had to do it out of necessity to just try to kill off all because I didn't know that I thought I was eating healthy, because I'm like, oh, I'm putting away pounds of broccoli and I'm taking cauliflower all the time. Like that's all I ever ate. But that was just feeding the bad bacteria that was in my gut, because that's what they feed off of. So when I found that out, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go starve these fuckers out. And so I started, greatly reducing all the carbohydrate. But, I do endurance sport. So for me, like, that started to like really dehydrate me. That's actually when I ran into one of your that actually helped me a lot, because you had this very weird video, which I thought was awesome. You're standing at this gravesite and you're like, yo, if you're an athlete, you know, like you got to take, you're doing keto. And to me, I'm on basically carnivore.
Yeah.
You're probably dehydrated. You need pounds of salt and you need like, you know, a lot of water. I'm like, yeah, you know, like that sounds pretty right. I don't really look at my salinity, and I have no idea if I'm like dehydrated. And soon enough, like this is weird because it was really coinciding with the peak of my insomnia, and I was off to do a race. So, like that whole week, I started twitching. Like a lot of my muscles started twitching and cramping, and I literally put it together. Like I couldn't sleep that whole week, which is just, it was getting worse and worse. I'm like, I can't be this anxious about a race. And I get to the event and like I couldn't sleep till 2 a.m. So we drove all the way to Florida, paid for tickets, paid for a hotel, paid for dog sitting, just to literally turn back because I couldn't sleep all night. So I was devastated. I'm like, there has to be a silver lining to this, you know, and I have to learn something from this. And I believe that's how I ran into your video. Because I kept like searching through shit, you know, like trying to figure out like what the hell did I do wrong. And it was just so blatantly obvious that I was severely dehydrated, you know, from everything, all the training leading up to it, but I just didn't realize it. So now I went out and I bought these like pea sticks. I don't know if you've seen them. It's ridiculous, but they're called Urinify. They're like $30, but they actually tell you like how much hydration you need. Like if you're dehydrated, it gives you a lot of data. It's not expensive, and it'll tell you how your salinity is, how your magnesium is, how your vitamin C is, your ketones, your protein levels. Like it gives you a lot of readout from a very quick urine strip, you know?
Yeah.
So for somebody that does a lot of sweating, I think that's almost like amazing, because I never knew, like, the only thing it doesn't give you is the potassium, but it's always like, how do you know when you're dehydrated? You know, do you need more water? Do you need more salt? Is it more magnesium? It's very hard to like, you're always like guessing, you know, like shooting in the dark.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely can be. But I want to just quickly move on because it's almost
sorry.
So I can get this wrapped up before 10, so I'm like keeping you guys up all night. But I mean, I don't know, hopefully you'll be up all night. But anyway, so one of the things I found very helpful with the carnivore community, I don't know if you've been involved with them at all, is just like the Facebook groups. I found it so helpful. They like really, when I was starting carnivore, they really like taught me how to do it, and then provided positive peer pressure to like keep doing it, which was really helpful. It eventually became not helpful because carnivore stopped helping, and then they were like, no, you have to keep doing carnivore. And it's like, that's where like specific community can be very helpful, but community is really, really, really helpful. And like building community is one of the main things I'm doing with Week to Warrior. So, basically, we're getting into that. Dang, wait. Okay, wait. This is a little out of order. But anyway, so at that part of the presentation, so quickly, you guys, I may have developed a little thing to help you guys learn how to listen to your body in order to specifically sleep and beat this type of insomnia. Would you like me to take some time, show that to you guys quickly? Hello?
Yep.
George, you still with me? Okay, well, George is probably still.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there he is.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, you want to say it, George?
No, so like, I wanted to actually probably say how my insomnia started, right? So for me, it started back in like late November, right? So I had a couple of stressors that got me to the point where I wasn't sleeping for 5 days straight. And so I went to the emergency room like 2 times. And so they give me hydroxyzine and stuff, but I don't think it's working. And from my understanding, right, the stressors, I don't understand why the stressor got to the point where my body started twitching and I wasn't able to sleep.
So in order to explain exactly why, I don't know, I can't explain exactly why your body started twitching, but But what's your question? Can you restate your question? Like,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So for me, would it be mental, right? I'm trying to get to the point where I think it might have been mental because like I said, I never experienced insomnia. This is the first time I've actually experienced insomnia. I'm 35, about 35. And so my point is, how would I listen to my body when I think it's mental? The reason why I'm not sleeping.
I mean, first, I just ask you a question. What's like the longest stretch of time you've been up without sleeping?
5 days.
So I just don't think in my mind that there's any possible way that's mental unless you're like tougher than a Navy SEAL accidentally. Like, unless you're just accidentally having, like, it's hard to like stay up for 5 days straight. Like, now that I fixed my insomnia, if I try to stay up for 5 days straight, I can't do it unless I go do stuff that triggers insomnia. Because like my body wants to sleep. So that's where I can't say definitively it's not mental, but it's not mental. Like, I've been coaching this for like 6 years. It's just not mental. Like, you can't psych yourself into 6 days of being up. Like, if you told me like 2 days out of the week I don't sleep or I barely sleep, then I'd be like, okay, that might be mental. But like, if it's like if you've been up for like a stretch of 5 days straight without sleep, there is something deeply chemically wrong with your brain, not psychology. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's like a story that I could tell anyone that's so scary it would keep them up for 5 days. Maybe there is, and like I could write it and then become a millionaire. But
Yeah, of course. So, another thing that I want to say, right? It's I've always had like few days here and there before this where I didn't sleep well, and then the following day I was fine.
Yeah, no, it gets worse and worse over time. It's kind of like how it tends to go, at least in my experience. It's so you're in the beginning stage of the insomnia strain, where basically, at least like, I mean, I don't know, I can't, like, I gotta tell you where you're at, but like the way I've seen it play out, I'll say, is people will start to get these symptoms like you're experiencing, where just like they're having like these bouts of total insomnia, and then it takes them a while, usually a few years, to like realize that like, yes, I have insomnia. Yes, this isn't going away. Yes, this is a primary sleep issue. So, I mean, yeah, I would just, that's what I would say is I would recommend, I'll just say like you're, I would recommend considering that this is primary complex insomnia. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay, you interested in hearing about the offer I made to help you guys listen to your body and start sleeping?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll get into it. So basically, within the process of trying to start sleeping again, you run into problems such as, how do I actually start listening to my body? Like, yours, like the guys have been saying, it's like, okay, how do I actually start? So I have made a program that teaches you guys where to start. But before we get into the program, I'll show you a little bit of like what I had to go through to make the program. So I tried every single diet known to man, virtually all of them: veganism, ketogenic, carnivore. I have pooped blood numerous times from diet. Been to the doctor more times than I can count to try to eat everything on the planet to start sleeping. Eat exclusively meat, salt, and water for 12 months straight. Literally not another thing besides that. While recording the results and experimenting religiously there. 15,000 hours. Like 15 actual thousand hours. I recorded this. And I actually like did the math at how many hours I've spent studying insomnia and sleep from like my whole life. Like 15,000 hours of study I've put into developing these frameworks I'm about to share with you. Over here, I put the cost of all the blood, urine, and pain I've been through. It's been horrible, like gallbladder attacks. I mean, like, I could get into like the physical pain, but like one thing. So in this program I made showing you guys how to start sleeping, I break down like so much stuff. So when I went carnivore for 12 straight months, I literally ate nothing but beef, salt, and water for 12 months straight. When I went off of that, I had an autoimmune attack that was so bad. I was in my room curled up on the floor in like tears and agony for 7 days straight. And for those of you who don't know what a gallbladder attack is, it's when your gallbladder, which produces bile, fills up with little stones because of toxicity in your body. And when your gut gets triggered by autoimmunity and stuff, as can happen when your body becomes hypersensitive due to a long-term elimination diet, what happens is like they can trigger these gallstones to try to move through the bile duct. And I've had these attacks throughout my life, but like this was the worst one, like the worst possible pain imaginable. And then like horrible gut pain, figuring out how to reintroduce foods after carnivore and like actually sleep again. Like just absolutely just the decades and stuff. So I evaluate the cost of solving this problem in terms of like literally just the amount of time and physical money resources it took me to figure out how to solve this problem. Close to $500,000 to Priceless. You don't have to pay that, but just to show you the work that went into this. To solve this problem, I have created this course. I'll tell you about. This course is Listening to Your Body 101 Sleep Basics. And this is available. You can listen to it on podcast format. It's through ClickFunnels, so it's really, really accessible. You can listen to a podcast, listen to it on your phone, listen literally through like Apple. I don't really use the podcast apps, but like Spotify, whatever podcast app you use, you can literally stream it through there. So the actual ability to consume is like really easy, but it shows you where to start, everything you need to know about starting. It shows you, like, I break down like every single thing that I teach all of my private clients who've had insomnia, who've successfully fixed insomnia, all that, all broken down in easy to consume, organized video lessons in a step-by-step approach to make it very simple and painless for you to actually fix this process without causing yourself gallbladder attacks, having tons of time spent in the bathroom vomiting from SIBO. All this stuff, this whole course is literally just meant to circumvent all the pain that I went through and that I've seen people go through trying to fix insomnia. Like all the triggers that you can run into, that like hidden triggers that keep re-triggering the insomnia. Like in those sleep drugs you take, there's probably tons of binders and fillers that I go through in this course that are literally just triggering your insomnia. So like as you take the drugs to make yourself sleep, they re-trigger autoimmune attacks and SIBO, which keeps on creating the conditions that prevent you from sleeping. All these triggers, exercise triggers, like the salt stuff, like you like my video on salt, all of that, like all that systematized is in this course. And it's specifically for like insomnia, like exactly what you guys are going through at this level. I've made like, I can't really get into, it's been years. It's beautiful. Like I literally like figured out from 19 when I first started sleeping with carnivore insomnia and fixed my insomnia and started helping people, to now 25 and a half years old, having 5 years plus experience coaching insomnia. Everything that I have seen that makes me and others be successful with this specific type of insomnia, that it's like treatment resistant, up for 5 days, up for a week, up for a month insomnia, everything that I've seen make people successful, I put in here. And so I evaluate that at $250,000 to Priceless again, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but I have the weird idea that I'm the only person on planet Earth that knows how to fix this kind of insomnia, simply because I've never been able to find anyone else who even talks about this kind of insomnia or purports a solution. So I say Priceless in a lot of these because I literally I actually think it's priceless, because where else are you going to even get this information? I think I'm the only person who has it. So hopefully that will change ultimately, because this information will eventually get out to the broader world throughout my lifetime, and then I won't be the only person who knows. But Now, so just a quick breakdown of value of this module. So I have that module. The other problem people run into is how to sustain lifestyle, how to like actually keep this going. So I am building a Discord community and that's centered around a Discord group. Basically like here, so I've joined a lot of communities and built communities for many years. Spent 5 years coaching people, finding out what works to share in the communities. Lots of mental agony to figure out how to actually build this stuff. And value to you is ultimately that you will get a community of people through Discord built around this course. So this course is part of the solution I'm offering. It's the course, the Discord group, and then two other components I'm going to get into in a second. But the core of the offer is the course and the Discord group. And these are really designed to help you by first off giving you everything you need to fix insomnia, and then giving you a place in which to do that with other like-minded people so you can actually get feedback, share what works for you down the line, help other people as they fix their insomnia, receive help from other people, and really have a group that I'm just spending all my time growing that you can derive value from, have community around solving this problem, just because it is so hard to actually fix this stuff. And even me now, like I have my own community of like my brother, my friends, former clients, people who I still talk to who provide me with feedback on the stuff I'm doing. Like I hit them up, I'm like, yo, I'm doing this. This is how this is working out for me. And then they say, oh, and then they try that out. They validate my ideas and stuff. So this community ultimately is going to provide you with tons and tons of value to fix insomnia. Cost to me to create it, $850,000 in terms of time and effort to build this community, and savings to you ultimately in terms of time, energy, effort, and pain. It's a little bit extrapolated because it's all depends on how much you value your own time, pain, and suffering. But $140,000. So honestly, it's like $1 million value in the community. Stacking those together. Also doing monthly challenges and master classes in the community and in the course in order to basically just give you more information on the most relevant topics to you. So let's say you're like, hey, this thing you made on salt is really helping me out. I'd love to learn more about the interactions of electrolytes, and a bunch of other people in the community have the same desire. Then I could make a master class and would make a master class and a challenge built around furthering the understanding of that concept. Ultimate valued you $10,000 on a monthly basis. And and then also, for some reason that slide's missing, but also there's going to be monthly Q&As in the Discord group as well. So if you have questions, you can get your questions answered through the community as well. And ultimately, I value all this at $1.7 million, which I'm not going to charge anyone $1.7 million for this. But just as a quick question, if this really is the only way to fix this kind of insomnia, would you say it is worth $1.7 million?
Yeah.
Nice. So, not charging that. But ultimately, wait, where's the vet?
Probably worth more. Depends how long you.
Honestly, yeah, but
depends how bad you're lying there and you're saying to yourself, "Why in the world can't I sleep?" You know, that's just anguish.
It's literally hell on earth. And one of the honestly, like what got me through it was just telling myself, I was like, if I can fix this, then I can help other people fix this. Because I literally, when I was like laying there for like a month without sleeping, I was like hallucinating. Because after 7 days without sleep, you start hallucinating. And I'm just like, why don't I blow my brains out? I'm like, why don't I just blow my brains out? I'm probably never going to figure this out. My life is just hell. Why not? And I'm just like, well, because if I can fix this, then I can help other people. So then it would actually be worth it. So it's not $1.7 million. It's not even $200,000. It's not even $10,000, honestly. One-on-one coaching can be. Not even $1,800. It is $147 on a month-to-month basis if you buy it on the website. But just on the webinar only special, $97 a month on an ongoing basis if you sign up right now. And there is a 7-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like the course, you look at the course, the group, it's just not for you. You're like, whatever. Just send me a message, send me an email. Get your money back, no questions asked. So the real question is like, is it worth a few minutes of your time to check this out and see if this could actually be the solution to insomnia? People think I'm crazy if there's a 7-day money back guarantee. Let's go through this because we got a timer, 15-minute timer. So you got 15 minutes, and you can sign up, buy, you can chat, ask questions, but that is the offer as it stands, and I'm quite proud of it. I'm putting my whole reputation behind that to literally put this whole offer out there on the internet with paid advertisements to get this out there. I'm that confident that this is the solution to this kind of insomnia. I'm literally willing to like put my face on the internet with paid ads. You know, like I don't know if you like how closely you follow my channel, but like, I don't know, like when I was making this course, if you like, I don't know when you like found my channel, but like when I was making this course, I actually I started having like kind of like PTSD, like mental breakdowns from like reliving, because to make the course, I had to like relive the experience of the insomnia to put myself in that frame of mind to make something that would most effectively help people out of it. And it literally like, it was really like emotionally trying. But anyway, I'm just telling you all this to like say like, I am like 100, I'm just so proud of this thing. Like I would honestly like, I'm staking my whole reputation on it. So you can ask me questions now, we can chat, but that is my whole offer, as you can see.
Yeah, I think the other dude left, man. He just thought.
Yeah, I think he'll be back at some point. Like they usually do, simply because they'll try a bunch of stuff, and then they eventually realize that it doesn't work. It's just like he's only had it for a few months, so he's like, really, like. By the time like when I was doing like high ticket coaching more often, by the time people would actually sign up with me, they'd had insomnia for like 5 years at least, usually, and they've been to like 6 doctors.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting to that point, but not today, brother. Honestly, it's a nice offer, but
hey,
still
gotta do what you gotta do.
Things. Let me come back to it if I really
yeah,
can.
I'll be doing this every Thursday. So if you want to try it out, I mean, you can $147 on any time on the website, and anytime you want on the webinar, if you come by on a though the 7-day discounts only on the webinar. The 7-day discount, 7-day money back guarantee is only through the webinar. If you get it through the website, I don't do. And the technical reason for that is simply like, in order to get the discount, you have to sit through the webinar. So I don't want someone just going on there, downloading the whole course, getting their money back, and then just putting it out. It's like, it's people, you could still do that ultimately, and eventually like maybe someone will do that. But this is some sort of a protection against that, is you have to actually show up to the webinar to get the money back.
No, I get it. I respect your thing.
No, but you can do what you want. If you don't feel like today is the time, then
it's not even that I feel like it. It's the reasoning behind it. It's not about feeling or money. It's just that I have so many things in the works already. I don't want to mix anything else into this at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe $7 or the 7-day free. I already dumped so much shit money into this that $97 ain't gonna do anything at this point, honestly.
Hey, maybe it would. Honestly, I disagree with you there, Greg. So, like I know I really put my heart and soul into this thing, like just guy to guy, like man to man. I put my heart and soul into this, and like you could just, it's not even like something that like would disrupt what you're doing now. You could just get it, $97. You just go through it, just watch the whole thing. And then just at the end, like if you don't want to implement any of it, don't implement any of it. You can just hear it, say, does this make sense as like something that you could even take what you want from it, use that in whatever you're doing now, and then just get your money back in 7 days if you don't want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, but you're on the webinar right now. You're here. $97. You could just go through the course tomorrow. You can go through it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Watch it all. Like, it's not that long. It's less than 8 hours. So you can go through the whole thing in a day. You can see if you like it. If you like it, you can keep it. If you don't like it, you just say, yo, give me my money back. And I'll just shoot your money back. And then you can be on with it. But it's really not something that's going to disrupt anything you're doing now. It's more of a lot of stuff like when you talked about like the carnivore and the electrolytes in the water. It's all that. I break down systematically how to understand. Like I'm so confident you're going to love this thing that I'm telling you, just literally, like if you don't watch it, if you like it and you learn from it, you can still email me and I'll give you your money back. Like there's no like condition on the money back. It's just like, I'm so confident you're going to like it. You'll just want me to have $97 because it's just that good.
What's the other deal? It's $147 per month.
$147 a month. So this is
for how long is that membership?
It's on a month-to-month basis. So the way I'm doing this is you could just get it after the first month and then cancel. Like there really is no obligation to continue. It's more like the way I designed this. But let me finish. So the way I designed it is built around the psychology of what people need to succeed at beating insomnia. So what I realized is like I can make a course and just sell a course. I could just say, yo, like it's $1,000 one-time course. You get the course. It's everything you need. But I was like, you know what? Like what people really need is ongoing community. They need more than just a course. Like I just sell you a course. Now you know what to do. But like, you may still fix your insomnia and like start sleeping better, but then get dragged back into old habits. Just have like I don't know. I mean, I'm doing this to build a community around this stuff because I find it depressing having no one around me who relates to this. So that's where like I'm building this also for me. Like this is like what I want for myself. And also the people who I've coached who are the most successful with this, not just during the coaching, but afterward, are the people who have friends who do this stuff. They're people who like have a community of people around them who also do these kinds of, they live a health conscious lifestyle in this particular way. So they get constant positive reinforcement on what it is that they're doing. And they're more likely to keep doing it. Whereas like, if everyone you hang out with drinks alcohol, what are the odds you're going to drink alcohol? Like you're probably, you know what I mean? So that's the purpose of the group is really, and then also more than that, like positive feedback and stuff too, because it can be a long road. Like it can be months to fully regaining your sleep. And when you're on that process, it's good to have other people around who are doing, like when I was in the carnivore groups, like I still am part of the carnivore groups. I still participate in them to this day, like the Lion Diet. You can go join these Lion Diet Facebook group, Carnivore Diet, Dirty Carnivore. I still join these things because I actually met my wife, funny enough, in a Facebook group for people who only eat meat called The Meeting Place. So I'm a big fan of online community, but literally like I'm still a part of all these communities because I just get good ideas from them. I go in there and it's like, I'm not going to do strict carnivore for 5 years again, probably, but there are people in there who are doing cool things that I still learn from. And I like it because like they have a radical mindset that's much better than the mindset of people I see around me on a day-to-day basis who just could give a crap what they put in their body. And it's like, I'm a part of a gym. I do jujitsu and that's other communities I'm a part of that keep me healthy. But like in terms of a community for insomniacs who have treatment resistant insomnia, specifically built around insomnia rehab recovery and lifestyle design to keep insomnia gone, there's nothing. So that's where I made it a subscription, just so you can understand my reasoning. So there's two ways that it can help you. One, you could just $97. You do the whole course in a week. You send me an email. I give you the $97 back. You got the course for free. You could do route 3, where you do $97. You like it. You let me keep the $97. You cancel, and then that's it. You could do route 3, where you do $97 a month. You like it. You keep it. And you like the community aspect. You like the community, the master classes and challenges on a monthly basis give you a reason to keep coming back. So there's going to be more interesting and exciting things to keep coming back for. So it's not just like you're coming back for the same stuff. There's going to be new things in the community, new talking points, building around. And then the Q&As are the same thing. Again, like everything you need to succeed is in the course, but people want assurance that they're going to like get support. So I have the Q&As, which it's a community event. You show up at the Q&A, other people are there. You can mash with the community. And then you can also get your questions answered, so you have that attention. So the whole thing, I mean, you could go with it or not. I'd like you to fix your insomnia however that works for you. I don't really care if you do this or not, though, because like I said, like I got paid ads behind this thing. This thing's taking off. Like I'm going to have plenty of people joining this community, buying this course. This is like the third week of the webinar, and like I literally have like people showing up from paid ads and stuff. Like this thing's going. It's going with or without you. But you can check it out though for $97, and you can see if you learn anything, and then you can just get your money back. So I don't know. It's literally whatever you want, but the way I've designed it for, because also the way I do it too is like the community is going to be the real benefit of the $97 a month subscription, because I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that within a year, all this information in my course is going to end up on some pirating website for $5 anyway. So how am I going to make money? Discord group. I'm going to have the most bomb community on planet Earth around fixing insomnia. So people are going to want to be a part of that, and then the ongoing challenges and stuff. So they're going to be, well, okay, there's more stuff I'm getting. Then they join that. It's going to be more like, so then there's that. And then also I have other long-term plans for expansion afterward. But yeah, anyway, that's my plans. That's what the whole thing's kind of built around. But it's really built around community though, because like I like community. I want more friends who get it. So this is kind of my way of like building something interesting for me to do by myself. You know what I mean? Like when I'm like on the toilet and stuff, like I can go on Facebook, but like I'd rather have like a whole Discord group of people who are all centered around bettering themselves, fixing insomnia, fixing their health. And it's just so satisfying to me. Like just to like tell you a story, right before like the time runs out, like this whole thing is literally like a person. So like one of the tricks I figured out to like not killing myself when I had insomnia, because that was the big mental game, was how do I not blow my brains out? Because like those highway free passes start looking real attractive about a weekend of not sleeping. So how do you just not wander into the freeway? You know, how do you not do that? And what I realized is that the voice in my head telling me to kill myself couldn't be me, because why would I tell myself to kill myself? That doesn't make any sense. So that means there's something else in my head telling me to kill myself. And that means if there's something else in there, that means I can kill it. That means this fucking thing that's trying to kill me, I can kill it. So I just put all of my energy into personifying this insomnia demon as this like force of evil trying to get me to kill myself. And my motivation for making this course and disseminating it over the internet with paid ads is to kill the fucking insomnia demon. Like this fucking thing couldn't kill me. So I am literally going to make it so no one else has to have this form of insomnia ever again. And it will go down in history that Devin Young eradicated this from the fucking face of the fucking earth as a fucking lesson to anything, man, beast, or abstract concept that fucks with me.
That's awesome. I'll take you up
Hell
on it
yeah.
next time. I'll see you on next Thursday then.
Whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Next Thursday it is. I'll see you there. And I'll have the slides.
You
in
make
proper
these like
order.
7 p.m. because it's so fucking late. I'm usually like asleep by now.
No, it's
You
got
might
to
wanna
be 8 p.m. because I
think
got
about
people
switching it up to,
coming
like-
on. A lot of people come on from Cali, and
Right.
work gets out there at 5, so it's got to be 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But next week, brother, next week, come on,
Yeah,
and
man.
like, I
Thanks
just want you
for
to
all the
picture
info.
Insomnia, however you do that. So like,
Yeah, at the current time, like I said, I'm sleeping, man, because I'm taking like all this different shit, you know? So it's like I'm definitely sleeping, which is a huge relief compared to last week where it was just all-time high, you know? It was really bad. It started getting worse and worse every day. And I was ready to like, I don't know what I'm waking up, my wife's waking up with me, you know, we're just going crazy. It's the worst thing. I don't know how people do this, man. And you know, I'm searching the internet, looking at all these videos. I'm like, man, I'm not the only one that deals with it. You know, it's crazy.
it's fucking nuts. It's really, that's the biggest thing for me is like, I put that video up. I'm going to go after this, but I put that video up. Back when I was just coaching business owners, I started getting all these people hitting me up for insomnia coaching. And I was just like, and that was when I started realizing like how big of a problem this was. And that's when I started creating this. But I had to let you run, Greg. I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
and
man. Thanks, brother.
Godspeed, brother. Take care.
Be easy.